All right, well, joining us now to discuss the upcoming elections is Dr. Martin Sherman, the founder and executive director of the IISS, and Naphtali Bensimon, a journalist and a member of the Likud Party. So, I think we should start with you, my friend. How did we get to this? Is this a move from Lieberman to stop Netanyahu from forming a coalition, or is this really about the Haredi draft bill?
I don't know if to describe it as a comedy or a tragedy, but the outcome of all of this process is a total disaster, a political disaster, that we have a new election in 2 months, and it's unbelievable. I was last night in the Knesset, and I couldn't believe that will happen until the last moment. I thought that maybe people will understand the huge responsibility that they have on their shoulders, to understand that we have to run this country, and this is a very complex situation, but it didn't happen, and we are going to a new election.
Well, Dr. Sherman, yesterday you called it, I would say.
I did.
You did call it. You said that you thought we were going to go to elections and there would not be a last-minute solution here. What do you think the outcome is going to be?
Well, as I said before, I think in many ways this may play to the favor of the right wing, because in the last elections, the right wing lost a lot of votes, almost 8 mandates, 8 seats, because of small parties that didn't cross the threshold. If they don't run, or if they manage to hook up with other parties, you may find a much larger section of the public voting for the right wing. There was an interesting poll this morning. I don't know how much stock to put in it, but it seems that there's serious problems with Blue and White, who's the main opposition party, according to the poll. They'd lost 10 mandates already, and there's already friction brewing there between Yair Lapid and Gantz. I think Lapid is becoming more and more rebellious and far less willing to accept the leadership of Gantz. But you know what you're seeing, I think, in many ways is extraordinary, because this is huge paradox between the performance of Israel in virtually every other field and its dysfunctional political system. You know, over the last 70 years, Israel has managed to build entire cities, build one of the most formidable military forces.
But not a coalition. But not a government coalition.
Martin, it's not only about who is favored to win the next election. Let me tell you, we are in a very fragile situation in economic terms. It's not going very well lately. It will cost another billion shekels.
1% of state budget.
Don't look as 1% of the state budget. This is the reputation of Israel in the world, the Israeli society, Israeli politics. And we are talking about, again, maybe more or less the same situation after the coming election. So we are in a huge problem, electoral problem system, the political system in Israel.
Well,
we should change it, but
that's true.
I'm telling you,
we did change it. This is the third time we've changed it.
I'm not blaming Netanyahu or Lieberman or others. For me, it was last night a big disaster for the Israeli politics system.
I'd like to say, it is unprecedented to see another election like this. It's not something that typically...
Well, that's true, but, compared to other countries, there'd be a revolution and there'd be troops in the street and the Secret Service taking over. At least this is the mechanism, the democratic mechanism in action.
Well, I guess the question is if Netanyahu has a chance to actually... lead the country in these new elections, or if that opportunity is gone, and also why Rivlin did not see an option in bringing the opposition to the table.
He didn't have. First of all, there was no other option. Gantz can't put together a ruling coalition. And by the way, the interesting thing was we saw that the Arab parties actually supported Netanyahu and voted for the dissolution of the parliament. But one of the big disadvantages one of the big disadvantages of democracy is that you can never blame the dictators. And so this is a situation which was generated by the electorate. the electorate could have voted differently. It could have voted more for blue and white.
Well, now we're seeing these talks of mergers. I mean, now we see Meretz, Tamar Zenberg is saying that there's a chance they're going to merge with the Labour Party.
Unfortunately, there's normally negative synergy. When two parties merge, the resulting party normally gets less than the two parties get separately because there's always somebody that supporters don't like, and so some of the supporters don't vote because of component A, and some of the supporters don't vote because of component B, and so the joint party normally gets less votes than they would if they ran separately. But the point is,
right? Well, but it didn't work out the way Labour had hoped this time around because they had the worst showing in history.
The whole point here is the threshold. And if Naphtali Bennett had got another 1,100 votes, the whole picture would have been different.
You know, Natasha, Gerard Kushner is here in Israel today, talking about the deal of the century,
which has been put on the back burner now, I should imagine.
And
that would make sense since there is no government with which to speak.
What the American will think about it, what the Russian will think about it, what Arab countries will think about the instability, the political instability in Israel. They will say maybe Netanyahu is not able maybe to promote.
Well, that is the question. I mean, I guess the question that ever is on everybody's minds is what is going to happen here? Who is most likely to win these next elections and take control over forming a new government and hopefully succeeding at that? Since
I put my money on Netanyahu at this stage.
You still put your money on
Netanyahu? I don't see any realistic challenger to him. Look, Netanyahu, in many ways, I mean, I'm not an uncritical apologist for Netanyahu. I've written very critical articles of him. But the bottom line is he has such tremendous accomplishments diplomatically with Brazil, with his relationship with Putin,
but the public is seeing all of this coverage of what is taking place right now with the immunity bill and the corruption cases that he's involved in. I mean, that's all over the news constantly, so that's certainly having an impact on his
says more
popularity.
about the news than about the validity of the charges.
He's still the man of the hour. He's still the man of the political system in Israel. He is the only one who have a chance to win again.
Look, they tried
a new election, but
Benny Gantz.
But something he's like a pilot that received some shaking. I don't know where in the atmosphere or something else, but he is shaking now.
No, but look at
I'm not sure that Netanyahu of yesterday until yesterday and Netanyahu of today is with the same confidence. Is the same person. I'm not sure.
But he may have more determination because look at the last elections.
We actually have to wrap this up, unfortunately. Last sentence.
3 political parties and 3 chiefs of staff couldn't depose him. I mean, it's
all right. Well, we do not know what is going to happen, unfortunately, yet. But what we do know is that we have elections coming up in September. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.